increasingly citizens are concerned about what's happening with these digital breadcrumbs that we're leaving behind us, these traces as we surf the web and live our lives online. And indeed for governments too, who wish to use this information and aren't quite sure of the boundaries and the laws that have been passed in an essentially offline world, how they equate to an online world.
And we're pioneering new services and trying to create new markets which are centered around data and more around mobile data. So we're looking for a contribution to what should this new model be that makes us a digitally confident society. And the key challenge is to get that regime right, one that respects citizens' rights to privacy while enabling the innovation that will lead to the creation of the next wave of internet applications.
It's about helping you to do things safely within the rules so that we get this balance between openness and privacy that leads to the confidence that is necessary for innovation, data protection. We're part of this exciting journey.
It needs to be a dialogue among these different groups to be able to figure out where the boundaries are between these and how best to use it. Get all of the views and define what the boundaries are between what's useful, what's good, and what's not so good. And
business needs to get better at showing how personal data can be used to provide better services for the consumer. Improve society and the world that we live in. Thirdly, this whole notion of value exchange needs to be at the heart of businesses' thinking.
I can upgrade a 4G network. I can spend £1 billion doing it, but so what? What am I doing that's affording the opportunity for citizens to engage in a way that extracts real value out of that investment? That's where digital confidence has got to be at the heart of a sustainable economic and social model.
What are the sorts of things that someone like Ronan needs to be aware of, that he practically should be doing?
You should ask. So we're just having a conversation today with, for instance, My Data and Open Data Institute about how perhaps what we could do is set up a live data lab where we could experiment with new ways of sharing and engaging around data between businesses, between consumers, between government, in order to define where is the value, where are the dangers. For the government, it's a new way to behave more effectively, to engage with the citizens better. And for citizens, it opens up new possibilities where they've to say, this seems to be good. Some of the experts looked at it. Doesn't seem dangerous.
If you rush ahead and brush aside people who are worried about this, concerned about this, then it stops the whole development in its track. Government, for example, needs to work much harder at explaining what they're proposing, why they're doing it, in order to convince. Because you can't just slip this under the counter and hope that people won't notice. They will notice, and when they've noticed, if they don't trust you, if they don't have confidence, you're not going to be able to do all the exciting stuff. What's the value exchange? What's the deal? If you try to slip this sort of thing under the counter, it won't work. In fact, worse than that, it'll set back the core.
Just in case we might seem to be in violent agreement on all of this, I think there is an awful lot to be said for the kind of experimentation, building through things like the My Data Innovation Lab, building examples that both corporates and advocacy groups, privacy advocacy groups, regulators can look at, and consumers ultimately can see the benefits both ways. So that's just a really great thing to do.